So again, this is the portion of Vayera. So for us, it's all about the energy of seeing a deeper reality. And so these verses of the Zohar that we're connecting to today, behind those verses is energy from the upper realm. And in particular, the energy from the upper realm, generally speaking, assists us in seeing a deeper reality, assists us in manifesting blessings. But specific to the energy of this week, it is assisting us in seeing a deeper reality. What reality? Our reality, our blockages, our judgments, our inability to be sensitive to situations, our inability to see beyond ourselves. So that's what we have for us today. Anyone want to volunteer to read English for us today?
I would love to.
Thanks, Phyllis. Okay, we're at verse 166. I'm going to read the Aramaic, and then if you will, Phyllis, before reading the English to 166, we're going to read the relevance.
Okay.
And the reason why why would we read the relevance first? Wouldn't it make sense to read the relevance? I mean, it does make sense at some level, but I want us to connect to the internal energy of the Zohar by reading the Aramaic first. But, 6 1 half dozen of another, I suppose, at some level. Okay, 166. Kevan, one other thing. This is our one world session. It's not just about us connecting to this energy for ourselves. It's about us connecting to this energy for the sake of sharing, receiving for the sake of sharing, taking our desire to receive and using it for the sake of sharing. So we want to have a consciousness of sharing greater insight and understanding and peace and healing and tolerance and treating everyone with human decency. We want to connect to all that energy and we want to share it with the whole world. Lest you think that's not possible, it is possible. It's not only possible, it's exactly what takes place, but we need that consciousness to complete that connection. 166, Kevan dit basar, Avram beYitzchak, Makati v'yakumu mishama anashim v'yashkivu al pnei Sodom. Rabbi Elazar Amar, Tachazeh kama an had kuchabrichu, tivu im kol briyan, v'chol sheken, le'inun de'azlei b'orchoi, de'afil b'zima deva'ela meidan alma, iyu garem leman derachem, le'miskei b'mila'ad la yete hahudina alma. Let's start with the relevance.
Okay, the relevance. It is human nature to be governed by the primal instinct of self-survival.
And what is that? That's desire to receive for the self. That is self-survival. Hey, if you're not thinking and taking care of yourself, no one's going to do it for you. That's what the opponent wants you to think. You're on your own, buddy. That's what the opponent, if you're not thinking about yourself, you're in trouble. That is the work of the opponent. That's the voice of the opponent. Go ahead.
Yet, it is also uniquely human to put aside one's own needs in consideration of others, albeit a much more difficult duty to perform.
That's our desire to receive for the sake of sharing. That's our overcoming our nature of just thinking about ourselves. It's a perspective of, I want to receive because I need to share with the world. Go ahead.
We are empowered with the strength to overcome our natural tendency to be self-absorbed in our own problems.
So this is, again, what we're getting here, yes.
We create the consciousness and awareness to recognize opportunities for sharing. In turn, our positive actions of sharing will give us the ability to overcome or circumvent difficult situations in life.
Oh, well, that's an interesting dynamic right there. So what the Zohar is telling us is that the challenges that we have in our life, and we all have challenges, that's a given. Well, it's not a given, I'm saying it. We all have challenges in our life. We don't know each other's challenges. We don't need to know each other's challenges. Frankly, it's nobody's business except our own. I mean, if you want to share, I'm willing to listen. But I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, these are the things that we have to work on. And what we're being told here is that by being beings of sharing, by showing up with a consciousness of thinking about others in our lives, literally, we get additional assistance in overcoming or circumventing difficult situations in life. Andrea, I saw your hand was up.
Yes. So I heard a really good story from one of the teachers I'm taking the Kabbalah effect, and it's Rachel El Hadif, and she explained the meaning behind the animals coming on to the ark. It wasn't just what we all were taught or thought or what we think of. It's that Noah and the family had to learn incredible humility and acts of sharing. So they were at the mercy of the animals. So they had to go around, they had to forget about themselves and completely comply to the schedule and the feeding of the animals. And if they missed, like Noah missed a day or forgot to feed the animals would attack. So that this is how they had to learn to increase their vessel in order to go out and, I guess, start the new world.
No question about it. You mean like the lions, like they would attack? Of course they would.
The lions or whoever.
So,
which is interesting.
Spiritually, look at all the animals that are surrounding you. I don't mean you, Andrew. I mean all of us.
Right.
Look at all the circumstances, the challenges that are surrounding us. They are there to help us expand our vessel. When you have a challenge in your life, we say, like, I'm having a bad time. This doesn't feel good. This challenge doesn't feel good. We are labeling it that way. It's just energy. I know, but David, the energy doesn't feel good. Yes, I know it doesn't feel good. That's the feeling you get when you're expanding your vessel. Oh, you can self-medicate, and now you're not feeling the pain. You're also not expanding your vessel. That's why we want to embrace those situations. Just like Noah fed the animals, they didn't complain about it. They embraced the situation. We need to embrace the challenge in our life, even though it makes us uncomfortable. That feeling of discomfort is the feeling you have when your vessel's expanding. And why is the universe sending you this uncomfortable energy to expand your vessel? Because you're about to go to your next level and you need the expanded vessel to accommodate the blessings that are coming your way. That's the Kabbalistic outlook. That's the deeper understanding of why we are experiencing the challenges that we are. We're 8-ounce cups, but we need to accommodate a 12-ounce blessing. Okay, thanks for sharing that, Andrea. Phyllis?
In turn, did I finish that part? In turn, our positive actions.
Yes, you can read it again. It's a good line. Read it again.
Okay. What? I'm sorry.
Read it again. It's a good line.
It is a good line. In turn, our positive actions of sharing will give us the ability to overcome or circumvent difficult situations in life.
So if you want to know why, when you're explaining a difficult situation to a teacher or to a friend or whoever, and they say, you need to share more, there you go. Okay, 166. Can you read the English to the 166?
Yes. After Abraham was told about Yitzhak, it is written.
What was he told about Isaac? He was told, and we see this in the beginning of this portion, the 3 angels showed up and they said, you're going to have a baby. You're going to have a son. Now, just so we're clear, he was like 100 years old. He didn't think physically he could father children, and he didn't think Sarah could mother a child. They didn't think they were having kids. They thought they were too old for that.
David, I was reading the few sections earlier in this morning, and it says actually, lo, they said actually to Sarah, lo, Sarah, you will have the child. They didn't say to Abraham that he'll have the child, which is interesting. And she's the one that she was 90. And was she barren too?
Yeah, she was barren. That's why, that's why they didn't have kids. They knew that she was barren.
But I'm saying, I think it's really interesting because if you read it, they said it was about her and the belief that that only God actually creates the baby.
Right. I think there's a teaching that in fact she was born without reproductive organs, internal. Like she physically couldn't have kids. And Abraham knew that because he looked at the stars. And that's the guy. Abraham looked at the stars and God tells him, and this is, by the way, why astrology is so important to us. Because we're born under certain stars with certain tendencies. And at one level, astrology is just knowing what your limitations are. But that's not our Kabbalistic teaching. Our Kabbalistic teaching is we need to overcome those limitations. And so when God takes Abram out to look at the sky and show him the stars, Abraham is looking at the stars and seeing they're not destined to have children. And the Creator is telling him, that's the destiny you need to overcome. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Those are the challenges you're supposed to overcome. That's what he was told. You can have kids. Yes, it was Sarah with the reproductive challenges, but he still didn't think he was gonna have a son. Not with her. Okay. But thanks for that, Peter. All right, Phyllis.
It is written, and the men rose up from there and looked towards Sodom.
Who were the men? In the narrative, those are the three angels. Did Abraham know there were angels? Abraham is sitting outside his tent every day looking to protect travelers, offer them some food, some water. That's what he did. He is the channel for sharing. So he sees three men approaching and invites them in. He washes off their feet. He makes some food for them. Does he know they're angels?
And it does, again, in the earlier sections too, it says, which is again interesting, was he really feeding them food? Was he really washing them, right? Because do they really exist? Right?
Well, angels don't eat food.
Yeah.
And they don't eat angel food cake either. They don't eat food. But they were angels. By the way, I was at, my nephew got married this past week, and there was a dinner, a Sheva Brachot Monday night, and I'm sitting at the table. My parents threw the dinner, and then my mom says to me, I'm at the table, she says, do you think you could share some words? I'm like, that was the warning, really, none. Yeah, I'll put something together. So that's the story I told. I told the story about the angels coming to visit Abraham. And I said there were like, I don't know, 20 people there or so. I'm like, is there such a thing as angels? I'm like, just so you know, it's right there. Of course there's angels. There's angels everywhere. We don't see them. Why don't we see them? Our eyes don't allow us to.
I didn't even grow up hearing about angels in Judaism.
I know you didn't. Me neither.
You didn't either.
No,
I mean,
but it shows up in the 5 books of Moses on several occasions.
yes.
And the commentary, Rashi, says angel. They were really angels. Like Jacob sends angels to Esau. Now, there's many situations where angels play a role. So where are they today? Well, when you're watching TV, you're not going to see angels. When you're reading the newspaper or paying attention to social media, we're too plugged into physicality to see the angels. Are there people among us who see angels? There are. There are. Can we see them? Yes.
But we don't necessarily know that they're angels.
Okay, so if you're in a weird circumstance and you come across somebody and it just doesn't add up, always consider the possibility that it's an angel. This is why our teachers will say, if there's a beggar there, give them something and ask them for a blessing. Or ask them if they have a message for you. I think that's the line. Ask if they have a message for you. Do you have a message for me? I can't tell you how many times I've given money to a beggar and forgot to ask that question. I can't remember it. Whatever. But there are angels everywhere. But these three angels had three specific tasks. Anyhow, they're done with lunch or whatever they were given, angel food cake, and they get up and they're leaving, and they look towards Stone. What happened in Stone?
Everybody was killed.
It was a very, very negative place. How negative? Well, look at the root of stone, the word, and what is close to in modern language. They were sodomites. They literally sodomized guests. So you have a contrast here between Abraham, who welcomes everybody in, and in Stone, they sodomized their guests. And that's just the beginning. There's a story in the Zohar that Lot, who was Abraham's nephew, Lot's daughter gave food to a stranger, and they covered her in honey and tied her down on the roof of a building, and she was stung to death by bees. They were evil people. They had, what does that mean? They were overly desired to receive of the self. That's it. They wouldn't share. And anyone who did, they visited consequences on them for that. Okay, so let's keep going.
Rabbi Elazar said, "Come and behold. The Holy One, blessed be he, shows goodness to all beings, but especially to those who follow his path."
Okay, so this isn't just a nice little line here. How do we manifest more blessings in our lives? By being beings of sharing. Go ahead.
And even when he decides to judge the world, he arranges for anyone who loves him to perform a meritorious act before the world is punished.
So even so does he judge? So our teachers say it's not the creator that judges. It reads this way. It's somewhat of an anthropomorphism. What happens is when enough negative energy is in a particular arena, that negative energy reaches a boiling point. The negative energy reaches a boiling point and negative things happen. That's cause and effect. That's not the creator judging. You mean the creator doesn't judge? That's what I'm saying. The creator doesn't judge. What about Judgment Day? No, this is what happens. The more we create the negativity. We're here to create the positivity, but we create the negativity. And so when we act in selfish ways, in inconsiderate ways, in insensitive ways, in inappropriate ways, which we all do from time to time. I mean, we're here. This is body consciousness. We fall into that trap. We get reactive. When we do that, we manifest negativity. And enough negativity, and there's consequences. But the creator is always giving us a way out. That is the way the system was set up. It's cause and effect, but there's a delay. It's not immediate. If it were immediate, you would never do anything negative because you would see the consequences right in front of you. That's what this is talking about. So the delay gives us the opportunity to correct for any negativity we've done. We're going to do it. The question is, what do we do about it? Once we realize it. I realize I showed up a little less than the way I should have. I have an opportunity to correct for that. And step one is being open to that and being conscious of that. And I'm thinking particularly in relationships where things are very difficult. It's difficult to see the right thing to do. But sometimes we merit to see what we did and what would have been the right thing to do. And there's always opportunities to correct for that. But step one is acknowledging that I should have acted differently in that situation. Okay, 167. Any questions? Okay, 167. De taninan b'shatan dekuchabrichu rachem le lebarnash me shadar le de rona uman yu mish kan kena mis kena begin to use k bay the cheven de zache bay yu amshich ale chad chuta de chesed dit meshach mistar yamina ufarish areshe urshem le begin the chad yete dina la'alma. How mechabla yizdahar be uzekef enoi v'chamalahu v'shimu kuchten yisalak mine yizdahar be begine kach akdim le kuchabrichu b'ameh v'yiskei.
This corresponds to what we have learned. When the Holy One, blessed be He, loves a person, He sends him a present.
Wait a second.
And what
Wait
is
a
that
second.
present?
Wait a second. Doesn't the Creator love everybody? What does it mean when He loves someone? It reminds me of the Sting song. I forget what the title is, but whatever. I'm not gonna sing it. When you love, the line is when you love someone, set them free. Anyhow, doesn't the Creator love everybody? Of course, the Creator loves everybody. There isn't anyone here who you encounter who's not loved by the Creator. They wouldn't be here. What does it mean when when someone loves the Creator? It's like we have that spark of the Creator. We objectify like and love, but it's a commonality of energy. It's taking place at an energetic level. When we connect to that spark, we are like the Creator. When we are the cause as opposed to the effect in our lives, we are like the Creator. The more that we are like the Creator, the more connection there is with the Creator. This is an anthropomorphism that we have control over. The Creator doesn't play favorites. That's something we control. This is another anthropomorphism. The Creator's not playing favorites here.
Hey, David?
Everybody's the Creator's favorite. Stacy, are you saying something?
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, like, when you say the Shema, it's like you're opening yourself to receive. And so, like you said, like the Creator loves everybody, but the only way the Creator can truly love us maybe is that we have to be open to receive those blessings.
Then it's us, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's us. It's not the Creator. The Creator's not playing favorites. Thank you. Suzanne.
Okay, on that note, and I know a couple weeks ago I shared something that hopefully was a teachable moment for everybody.
Can you
else, and
speak
I
up a
think-
little bit, Suzanne, because it's hard to hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better, okay. Hopefully this is a teachable moment for everybody. Yesterday, which I would assume is preparation for the energy to receive today. I know a couple weeks ago I talked about an anger coming up within me and a frustration in a certain area of my life. And yesterday, another part of that came up. And what I noticed about it, thank God, this time was that it was victim, right? Like blaming God. Why is this blockage in my life? Why am I going through this? I'm so tired of it. Like 7 years. Okay, like done. So, and then I had my little rant, but then I could feel like this massive opening happening. Okay. And you had told me a couple weeks ago, and this is kind of new to me to like accept these parts of myself because I wanted to shove it under a rug before. Right? And not acknowledge
Sure.
it. Okay. So you're teaching me how to love myself in these parts, right. Thank you. So it came up again. And then I'm like, okay, so let's not go. There's no guilt around this. You just have to let it, you got to love it.
You've got to embrace that part of you.
Yeah. Any other beautiful insights or wisdom, David?
You can't move on until you embrace that part of you. It's not good and it's not bad. It just is. And it all ties into like this desire to receive for the self. It's okay to be that way. Literally, we came down with that software program when we became, when we landed on planet Earth. You can't come here without a desire to receive for the self. That's the software you show up with. It's like you're playing tennis and there's a net. Well, why is that net in the way? Boy, things would be so much easier if there was no net in the way. Yeah, I know, but that's the game of tennis. Well, the game of life is there's a desire to receive for the self in the way. There's selfishness. We're all programmed that way. We all came with that software program. Our job is to hack the system and rewrite it. And then, of course, once we do, we've kind of leveled up, and there's blessings waiting for us at that next level. But I feel like I've plateaued. I know we all feel like we've plateaued. We haven't. That's just getting ready for the next challenge. It's that challenge that we get off the plateau. Sometimes it's the plateau that's the challenge because we don't feel the desire, but it's the challenge that we get that assists us in moving to the next level. Why do you think Rav Shlad calls his commentary on the Zohar the Sulam? It's a ladder. Life is a constant climbing up. I think the way our teachers have explained it, I think in Kabbalah 1, when I took with Michael Moskowitz, it was like you're walking up the down elevator. If you remain stagnant, you just continue to go sink downward. You have to keep walking. That's what resistance does for us. It gives us the ability to elevate, to manifest light in this world. So we can't, if we are judging ourselves, we're not getting anywhere. We have to embrace ourselves. We have to have self-love. We have to have self-care. We have to have self-compassion. We have to be who we are so we can go next level. Thanks for that, Suzanne. Peter, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to expand on what you and Stacy said, because as I read it, when it says he loves a person and he sends him a present, it ties right back to the previous paragraph we just read. And it's much more about it's the actions we take, right? So you were referencing it as the spark in us. The point is we have to be the one that shows the love, take the action, we show the love, and we get the present based on our action, right? We're the cause and the effect, we're the beneficiary. And when we, and as Suzanne sort of saying, we all fall into it, we're looking for someone else to do it. All we got to do is we do it, right? Our teachers say, just do it, and then the goodness will come back to you. So when I keep saying he loves a person, that's, just what Suzanne's saying, it's all about us.
Right.
Do we put that out?
Right.
Then we'd get it back.
Right.
Easy to say.
Easy to say, yes, because what happens is we can sit here and we say, okay, great. So those challenges I have is my opportunities to reveal a gift. And then the challenge, I was like, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe they did that to me. I cannot believe they put me in that situation. Yes, Adam.
If I can share a couple of things that come to mind, I think just what Stacy had said and that topic came to mind is just simply put was just like face to face as opposed to back to face. But really the comment that has more about the down escalator, and that I feel like it's even like more. Yes, the down escalator, but like it's almost like we're on like I don't know, like a bigger ship or elevator that is always going up, whether we like it or not, or know it or not. And I don't think 99% of people realize that. But that life is the bargain. You continue to go up whether you see it or not. And within that, you're also on this down escalator. And so I feel like when you do hit those strides of going up, it's just more of a multiplier effect, which is what we as students get to live.
That's right. It's a great point. I think ultimately, as you're talking, what I'm picturing is we're trying to walk up the down elevator, and the higher we go, the faster it gets. It's probably just an illusion, or not. Like that's the thing. It's like you start hitting the fastballs and they start coming in faster. Yes, that's true, but you can handle it. There isn't a fastball that's getting thrown at you that you can't hit. It's just at first, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe how fast that is. I can barely see it. Okay, Phil, so where are we?
We're into the second sentence. Let's see,
Go ahead.
after the present. Okay, and what is that present?
All right, that's good. What is that present? It's probably something, it's coming from Amazon, I'm sure. Go ahead.
It is a poor man for whom he can perform a meritorious act.
Oh, so literally it's someone who shows up who needs your help. look. In other words, we're facing a challenge. How does the universe help us? It gives us an opportunity to share. The problem is it's going to happen when we don't want it.
Or in a way that we don't want it.
Literally, I was like, it was like Wednesday night. I was exhausted. I'm like, I'm going to bed right now. It's 10 o'clock. I'm in bed and I get a text. It's like, somebody needs something. I'm like, I know I'm supposed to go to sleep, but it was an hour conversation before I got to sleep. And I was like, you know what? That's obviously what I had to do. No question about it. I mean, that's just an example. Maybe it's a dumb example. I don't even know, but it's an example. So we need to be attuned to what's going on around us, even when we're going through life's challenges. Because the universe is helping us. Go ahead.
So now that he is meritorious and deserving, the Holy One, blessed be he, draws a cord of grace from the right side upon him.
So then once we've helped the poor man in this situation, someone who needs help, it says the Creator draws a cord of grace. Well, we kind of did that because we connected to chesed, we connected to mercy. And so we manifested more mercy in our lives. And that's where we become meritorious of assistance. Go ahead.
He winds the cord around his head and marks him so that when judgment falls on the world, the angel of destruction will take notice of him and not hurt him.
Oh my God. Well, a couple of things. First of all, the angel of destruction is still showing up. There's a Zohar section that I read earlier this week in this portion where it's like, angels don't, you would think the angel would know. Wouldn't you think the angel knows? No, they're so singular of purpose. They don't know. That's why we need this like beacon of mercy wrapped around our heads. So when the negative angel shows up, the negative angel knows that, the mission has changed. That is energy of protection for us. As I know I've pointed out before, if you look at the standing prayer, the Amidah, the first prayer is Baruch atah Hashem Magen Avraham. Blessed is the Lord, the shield of Abraham. It's fascinating. One day I was looking at that, I'm like, what is the shield of Abraham? I know what the shield of David is. It's the six-pointed star, the Magen David. We call it the Star of David, but it literally translates as the shield of David. Well, okay, I got the shield. We all got the shield there. We all know what that looks like. That's the six-pointed star. What was the shield of Abraham? Anyone ever stop to think about that? That prayer is said 3 times a day, 4 times on Saturday. What is the shield of Abraham?
It's mercy, I think.
It's mercy. Thank you, Stacy. It's chesed. When you
I was going to
connect,
say, you've told us before, David, and I'm sitting here thinking, like so many things we hear, can't remember.
Can't hear it too many times, right?
It's okay. That is mercy. When you connect to mercy, you get energy of protection. That's the shield of Abraham. Literally. When you show up in life as more merciful, when you can work on your conscience of being merciful where it's appropriate, you gain additional protection.
Hey, David, if I may, this is so Kabbalah 1. Because again, we going back before it was God loves us, and then down here he gives a cord of grace. No, it's what they teach us. There's a system, and if we play in the system and we do the right actions, we create the benefits to ourselves.
That's
and
right.
Can we get that through I'm directing this to me. Can we get it
Right.
through our thick head so that we do more?
Okay, the problem is that we have this body consciousness that keeps getting in the way. We have this physical connection that gets in the way. We experience life as physical beings that have spiritual experiences. The reality is we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. But it's such a like engaging physical experience. It's hard to even know that it's a physical experience.
So it really is the business metaphors. It ain't a zero-sum game.
Right,
And almost everybody's playing it.
right. Right. Absolutely. All right, Phyllis, keep going. You have a question, Phyllis?
It's not a question. I just want to make a comment because I think I finally just got some clarity on something that's been really bothering me. I've had this challenge and I've gone through in my head and out loud to nobody, I'm going to do this. No, that's really not the right thing to do. I'm going to do this. No, that's not the, I'm going to do this. Then, okay, I need to maybe talk to this person. No, I don't want to. I just went through all these options and none of them were it. And then I started thinking of something that I needed to do, but the anger was still there. And then it became, and as soon as I added it, I heard, do it with mercy, be merciful in this, that I'm being called to be merciful, but I had to go through being all these other stuff. As a Cancer, my emotions get in the way sometimes before I actually get to the answer. And so it's like, now I know what to do. So there's no accidents that.
No, there's no accidents. And, in the process, you might have, listen, you got a message. Be merciful. Where do you think that came from?
Yeah. Where do I think it came from?
Where did that come from? It came from
Of
yourself.
course, it came from what? It came from the light.
That's right.
Right.
So
But I
like,
wasn't doing any of
if
that
we
for a
can
while.
restrict our anger, we'll hear that message a lot sooner in the process.
Yes. It's getting shorter. It's getting quicker.
Listen, if we,
Sometimes.
at times we're all living in fear. But fear is a lack of certainty. Because if you had certainty, you wouldn't have fear. Certainty that everything is happening for the right reasons and we're okay. Fear is a rejection of that. So when you're living in fear, you can't hear the messages either. When you're angry, you've literally handed over control. You're not running the ship anymore. Suzanne?
Okay, so you've got a lot of Cancerians, including myself, on this call. So Phyllis mentioned my ocean gets in the way. Okay, I'm going to call the ocean of emotion. Okay, all the crap, not the happy stuff, the crap. So, but I guess what I'm learning, at least where I'm at now, is like not to feel guilty about it, to accept it and love it. That's just where I'm at. I'm not perfect yet. So not perfect. Okay, it's better than it was, sort of. But there's still like this ocean of emotion. And I guess the only thing you can do is to let the steam out. I don't know. Like maybe you have some insight or wisdom. Like, is that mercy?
we have like a minute left. So I'm just going to say that when we are overwhelmed by a challenge, we need to do whatever we can do and just hand the rest over to the light. We're not supposed to figure all this out on our own. We're supposed to take the steps that we can take and then say, all right, light, I'm handing it over to you. You take care of the rest. That's all I can do.
I also, if I can add something to that, because
Sure.
based on, like what I was just going through, I mean, I just kept telling myself, okay, I'm here to, to work on how my emotions get in the way of me doing what I need to be doing, the right thing.
Right.
So, and I know that I have to keep working through this to get to the other side. And I said, okay, today's Friday, we've got Zohar, I'm going to make sure I'm there. I'm going to read if I can, it's like, I just needed to get everything I could out of this because this was the only place the answers were.
Right. And Adam is writing in the chat, there's no magic bullet. Oh, shoot. Wait, it disappeared. Adam wrote, there's no magic bullet, but reading the Zohar is the best you can get.
Exactly.
And that's it. I mean, these are our tools that we have available to us to assist us in removing the blockages, in getting more clarity, in seeing the steps we need to take, and also inviting the light in. And, you know, it's like you're stuck. I don't see the way out. And all of a sudden, you know, the off-ramp comes into the picture. All right, everybody. We're done for the day. Shabbat shalom. Love you all. Thank you all.
Shabbat shalom.
Have an awesome weekend.
Shalom.
That's, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
David.
you.
Shalom, everyone.